How's it going, everybody? My name is Lukalas, and welcome to the final part of this production series. It's been an awesome trip having you guys here, so big applause for you guys. So, for this particular last video, we're going to be talking about just general mixing tips. Now, I'm going to have already opened up the Don't Let Go that I mentioned in the last video on songwriting, and what I want to talk to you guys a little bit further is EQing and just different ways of mixing. Now, in this case, I already know that I'm going to have a vocalist in the song, especially in the chorus, going up to the actual initial drop. So in that case, there's going to be some frequencies that I'm going to dip down on some of them, on maybe like the leads, or especially that acoustic guitar or that lead guitar sound. I'm going to dip that down a little bit. I'm going to push things into the background so that the vocals just sit right there in the middle. So that's all done with like EQ and compression. So in this case, this guitar lead part right here, this guy right here. Again, I'm using a Renaissance AXX plugin just to compress it just a little bit more, give again some of that lower, maybe lesser volume things, bringing that up, taking that higher, maybe more plucky sound, and just dipping that down so it just swings it out a little bit nicer for this particular track. And so already before I even bounced it, I EQ'd in, taking some of that low end out and also that mids, also some of that crispier, maybe 2-3K, right where the vocals need to sit, just so that it just fits that very well. Now the next thing that I have is this long guitar part, which again, I already EQ'd up and everything like that. I compressed it a little bit more, very light compression, slower attack than normal. I didn't want it right off the bat. But again, this just it brings it up a little bit more in the mix. The other thing that I did with it is made it go left and right, so it's auto panned already, so it just again creates that spacious feel. I used an S1 imager again from Waves just to create that the sound field, at least for this particular part, was pushed more to the background and more wide sound, and just filling in some of that space that may not be where the main vocal sits, so creating again that space so that whatever is the main part, it sits really nicely there. Now the next thing that I have is the kick. Now the kick, again, I EQ'd it up a little bit differently than say a normal kick. I actually took out some of that really low end, so that at least like the bass or the sub that I'm using for this particular song actually just fills in that space really nicely. Now the other thing that I did was having again a compressor on this particular bass patch, which sounds like this. Now I did have a sidechain, so therefore it is triggered by the kick, so it's always on that offbeat, which is what you heard. On top of that, EQ'd it, compressed it a lot. We have a minus 9.8 threshold, and it peaked around, or it attenuated minus 8.8, so almost minus 9 of gain reduction there. And then the EQ here, as you can see, I did roll off again really low part to it. I boosted some of like the main three, maybe let's see here, actually let's take a closer look here. Again, I boosted actually around 212, so again it's just adding in more of that pronounced bass tone, so that really stuck out in the mix. Now the other thing, again, I didn't attenuate any of the high ends on this particular one because I really wanted to boost it up, but this just separates it so that whenever the kick goes, the bass initially goes up, hence why I sidechained it. So all that's going to be posted or edited, so that's going to be fun to mess with. But when looking at just a general mixing thing, the other thing too is making sure that everything is balanced out. So maybe taking this particular session, bouncing out maybe all the guitar parts at once, all of the drums parts, maybe as individuals, and then combining them all in say a group in Pro Tools, maybe all your effects, all the lead, the vocal sounds, everything like that, and then going in and mixing it that way, maybe saving you more of a headache. But for me, I like to both mix and create in the same session. It's just how I like to work. I like everything in one session, really compressing it so that I don't have 5 or 6 different projects going on and just creating that clutter. So again, just making sure that you understand everything, you're going through it all, that you're understanding what elements are in the actual song, and then picking apart and seeing, okay, where does this piece fit in, where does this piece fit in, and then using different plugins or just even pans and volumes in order to achieve said goal. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this last video. Again, I know it's very short, which is why ultimately why I'm actually going to be telling you this, but there will be a bonus 7th video for you guys. So I hope you guys stick around. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give a high five to that like button. Also give a slap to that subscribe button. Lets me know that you guys have enjoyed this series so far. If you have any comments or questions or a topic that you want me to talk about, make sure you comment that down below. And as always, we will see you all on the next track.